Hello, my name is John Ozigar, and I will be presenting the multiple intelligence theory. By the end of this presentation, I would like for you to be able to describe Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. I would also like for you to be able to list and describe the 8 intelligences outlined within his theory. Another important point will be to understand how different methods can help teach students within each intelligence category. Just some questions to start before we get started. How do you define intelligence? What do you think the best approach to teaching is? And what type of learner are you? You can figure this out by taking the quiz at this link. All right, let's get started. Who is Dr. Howard Gardner and what did he do? Dr. Howard Gardner is a professor of education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. He developed the theory of multiple intelligences because he believed that standard-based IQ testing was far too limited. He proposed that there are 8 different intelligences that account for a broader range of human potential. As he once said, it is not about how smart you are, it's about how you are smart. How does multiple intelligence differ from traditional methods? Well, traditional methods state that a person is born with a fixed amount of intelligence and that this intelligence does not change over time. They also state that teachers should teach the same material to everyone and not make teaching diverse. In the multiple intelligence theory, human beings have all the same intelligences, but some people have a unique combination of these intelligences. We can all improve each of these intelligences, although some people can do this a little bit easier. In this approach, teachers are asked to teach differently based on the individual needs. So what are the 8 multiple intelligences? First, the verbal linguistic intelligence. This method accounts for an individual's ability to analyze information and produce work that involves oral and written language. These students enjoy reading, writing, and discussing. They remember what has been said or read. They speak and write effectively and can even learn multiple languages. Teachers who work with these types of students should really focus on reading, writing, and speaking within their lesson plans. One famous face that's a verbal linguistic is no other than Dr. Seuss. Methods to work with these types of students, verbal linguistic learners, is to read out loud to the class. And it's a great idea for the teachers to read dramatically. Puts an emphasis, bring the stories to life. Another method is by having students paraphrase what they are learning. These students can also participate in debates or create journals. The logical mathematical intelligence. This is the ability to develop equations and proofs, make calculations, and solve abstract problems. They enjoy working with numbers, can easily interpret data and analyze abstract patterns, and have a well-developed ability to reason and are good at chess and computer programming. They think in terms of cause and effect. These types of people are more likely to join careers such as accounting, computer technology, and law, as did Bill Gates. When working with students with logical mathematical intelligence, It is a great method to use flowcharts. This allows students to map out what they are learning and to list them numerically. Other methods that really help these students are sort, categorize, and characterize word lists. It is also important that when reading a story, you stop before you have finished and allow these students to predict what will happen next. In science, it is also important to conduct experiments so that they can see the problems that are at hand and the concepts that are being used. The third intelligence is visual spatial. These students think and process information by seeing and observing. They recognize faces, objects, shapes, colors, details, and scenes. They also use visual aids in order to recall information. They enjoy doodling, drawing, painting, and sculpting. A good method to use here is by take photographs of the lessons that are being taught and the assignments that have been completed. It is also important to use maps when you're talking about geographical locations. A really big helper here is color coordinate during your lessons. The different colors allow these students to connect the information easier. The musical intelligence theory. These students listen and respond to a variety of sounds. They are eager to learn from music and musicians, and they usually develop the ability to sing or play an instrument. These students may also constantly hear musical notes in their head, just like Taylor Swift. Methods for helping these students is allowing them to write their own songs and music about the content that is being discussed. You can also use familiar tunes, songs, or rap beats that help teach rules within education. You can allow students to read together, like a choral reading, or you can read a story with great emotion, expressing sadness, happiness, and anger. Coming up with rhymes to help remember spelling rules is another benefit. A good example here is I before E, but not except after C. The naturalistic intelligence. This refers to a person's natural interest in the environment. The ability to identify and distinguish among different types of plants, animals, and weather formations is usually common in these students. They understand how the body works and takes an interest in their health. They enjoy being in nature and want to protect it from pollution, as did Charles Darwin. Methods for teaching a naturalistic intelligence. They care for classroom pets or care for classroom plants. Allowing students to take ownership within their classroom with a pet will allow these students to really be able to focus and hone in on their skills. These students like to research animal habitats, so organizing or participating in park playground cleanups, recycling drives, and beautification projects is very beneficial to these students. You should spend time outdoors, allowing them to notice scientific concepts. The bodily kinesthetic intelligence approach. These students are highly aware of the world through touch and movement. They use their own body to create products or solve problems. They prefer to touch, handle, or manipulate what is to be learned. They learn best by directly being involved. They demonstrate skills in acting, athletics, dancing, sewing, carving, and even keyboarding. Methods to help these students are is to allow these students to perform the skill that is being asked or to act out what is being learned. You can also allow these students to walk while reading a book, build objects using blocks, cubes, or Legos. You can even use magnets or pipe cleaners to allow these students to manipulate letters into words. The big thing to take away here is when you're teaching these types of students, you need to allow them to express themselves and to move. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to recognize and understand how other people's moods, desires, motivations, and intentions are. They form and maintain social relationships, and they pursue careers in teaching, social work, counseling, management, or politics. They are good leaders, and they usually like to interact with others. Good methods to help these students are allow these students to work in cooperative groups to design and complete projects. They can also work in pairs to discuss what is being learned in class. Another great method is allowing students to tutor one another within your classroom, or may even set up a program where older students can go into classrooms to teach younger students. The intrapersonal intelligence. These students have the ability to recognize and understand moods, desires, motivations, and intentions within themselves. They are aware of their own emotions and are extremely motivated to pursue goals. They usually work independently and need time to process the information learned by themselves. A good thing to note with these students is that you need to allow these students time to write and reflect on what they are learning. This can be done by allowing these students to keep journals or logs throughout the year, or even maybe to make a scrapbook about what they are learning. You should also allow these students time to reflect on what they are learning and maybe even practice breathing and relaxation methods. These are some extra sites that provide a lot more information on the multiple intelligence theories. And I hope that you have learned a great deal from this presentation, and thank you for tuning in.